What's up, pre-viz? So here is the exercise that is to be done in your sketchbook. This is the third and final sketchbook exercise, and it is aspect ratio. So here's what you have to do in your sketchbook. You have to draw 4 storyboards, one of each aspect ratio. So sometimes there's some confusion with this project where people will actually do this on their templates. You are not supposed to do this on your templates. You're actually supposed to draw these storyboards in your sketchbook. So you're going to draw 4 storyboards, one of each aspect ratio. So you're going to draw one standard, one European standard projection, one American standard projection, and one Cinescope widescreen projection. Using a ruler, you are going to draw these in your sketchbook. So some of you might be asking, well, how do we know how big to draw them? One of them you're going to draw 3 inches tall by 4 inches wide. One of them you're going to draw 3 inches tall by 5 inches wide. One 3 by 5.5, and then one 3 by 7 inches wide. So you're going to draw these in pencil first, and then if you choose to ink these, that's fine. But here's what's up. I want you to draw in these storyboards, and you don't have to necessarily tell a story or anything like that. It's not meant to be anything sequential, but I want you to get the experience of kind of filling up a canvas in each one of these aspect ratios, because the way that you do your cinematography and the way that you would design storytelling in each of these is very different. If you were telling a story and this is kind of the workspace that you have to work with, you would visually tell your story much differently than if you were working in this aspect ratio. It's much more panoramic. You might use that to your advantage in telling a story, or vice versa. So there are 4 rules you need to hit. Each one of these rules at least once within your homework. So here's what it is. At least one of these, at least one, has to be INT. So what that means when you draw out these 4 storyboards, at least one of them has to be interior. Next up, at least one of these has to be EXT. Truth be told, whenever you're drawing a storyboard frame, you are either inside or outside. So in drawing 4 of these, you're going to have more than one. You may have more than both, but you have to have at least one inside, at least one outside as well. You have to have at least one arrow that is inside the border. What does that mean? It means somewhere you're going to have something's moving and the arrow itself is contained inside the frame, and then at least one of these has an arrow exceeding. That's not how you spell exceeding, the border. So in that case, you may have something that is shooting out a frame, for example. So that's it. I want you to fill these. I want you to draw these as best you can with background, and you have characters doing something. Doesn't matter what the story is, and these don't have to tell a story in between these. These can just be 4 random storyboards, but one has to be interior, at least one has to be exterior, at least one has to have something moving where we see an arrow inside the border, and at least one of these has to have an arrow exceeding the border. This is your sketchbook exercise. It's the 3rd and final one, and this is going to be due at the end of the semester. You want to get started on this sooner, hopefully get it done perhaps this weekend and get it out of the way so you don't have to think about it anymore. And then I will be grading this when I go through your sketchbook at the end of the semester. Capiche? All right, that's it. See you guys soon.